to say Terence Crawford.
Yes.
You know, that fight's gonna happen. Hopefully he beats Jeff Horn and gets that belt. And like I said, I want to be undisputed welterweight champion of the world.
Wait till he get a belt.
Yeah.
He ain't did nothing in the welterweight today.
You
When he
have
get
did
a belt,
nothing.
when he
You
get a
have
belt,
did
you want to
You
go
have
over
did
there. Keith Thurman want to go over there, and now y'all want to say, "Oh, I ain't fought nobody," but I got a belt now, so
Okay.
why?
Okay. Sharon Porter got a belt too.
He dog at the welterweight division, and he gotta take a back seat and take that 60-40 or 7-30, wherever we give him.
Done with everybody else but Terence Crawford. Can we just do Errol Spence versus Terence Crawford?
I mean, that could happen. We gotta see how it go. But you know, like I said, I can move up to 160 and fight Canelo Alvarez.
Look, I want to get.
Who mans is this? Get him the fuck out of here.
So what do I do, YouTube? It's your boy King David in this thing, and I'm back at y'all again with another video. Okay, so before we get going on the video, man, y'all know what to do. Go on here, hit the like button, and if you're new here, be sure to subscribe one time for your boy, so we can continue to grow like we need to grow on this channel, man. Y'all know what time it is, man. Yes, sir. Alright, so with all that out the window, man, y'all see what the title of the video is, man. Look at here, man. Look at here, man. Errol Spence is preparing for a loss. Bud Crawford is preparing for a win, right? He's preparing for post-win. Errol Spence is preparing for post-loss, right? So, you know, ever since the promotion started for this fight, Terence Crawford and Errol Spence have had two completely different approaches when it comes to the promotion of this fight, right? When it comes to media, you know what I mean? On one hand, you have Terence Crawford, who speaks very highly of Errol Spence Jr., giving him props as a top fighter, giving him props for things that I don't even think he should get props for, making him out to be a better fighter than honestly he really is, right? And then you have Errol Spence discrediting and disparaging Terence Bud Crawford, making him seem like he's nothing, making him seem like it's an easy fight, right? Terence Crawford ain't fought nobody, blase, squaze, yakety schmackety. Which is very interesting considering the fact that if Terence Crawford was such an easy fight, according to Errol Spence, and he ain't fought nobody, and he's rated 5.4, according to Errol Spence, in this little rating thing that he gave Terence Bud Crawford, then why did the fight take 5 years to take place, right? Why did it take 5 years to take place? Why did Errol need to take the easy route before getting in the ring with a Terence Bud Crawford? Why did Errol offer Bud Crawford a 60-40, 70-30, and then 80-20 split when Danny, Mikey, Sean, Ugas all got at very least 40%, right? Why was it different for Terence Bud Crawford? Why was Bud Crawford on the wrong side of the street, but Jeff Horn and Canelo Alvarez weren't when Errol was trying to make the fight with them, right? Why so many different things, right? Considering the fact that Bud Crawford is such an easy fight, according to Errol Spence Jr. Nevertheless, I digress, right? Because that's all beside the point. I say all that to say this, right? Terence Crawford and Errol Spence's approach to the promotion of this fight have been completely different, right? But my thing is, for two guys that are trying to make this fight be the biggest that it could possibly be, for two guys that are trying to receive the maximum amount of credit for beating the other guy, who is arguably the best in the weight division, you would think that their approach to this fight would be more or less the same, right? For Terence Bud Crawford, he makes Errol Spence out to be a really good fighter. Once again, dare I say, a better fighter than what he actually is, right? And to me, that's the approach that someone should take if they're trying to receive maximum credit for defeating the guy that lots of people are saying that they would lose to, right? But for Errol Spence, it's so very different, right? It's so very different. He's discrediting Terence Bud Crawford, right? He's discrediting Terence Crawford, which to me makes zero sense, because should you actually get a win over a Terence Bud Crawford, I mean, isn't everybody going to revert to all the things that you've been saying about him throughout this promotion? Terence Crawford ain't got no resume. Terence Crawford ain't got no punch resistance. Terence Crawford ain't got no defense. I mean, according to Errol Spence in this little rating thing that he did for Terence Bud Crawford, Terence Crawford really ain't shit, right? According to Errol Spence. He a journeyman, according to Errol Spence, right? So if Errol Spence was to turn around and actually beat Terence Crawford, how much credit is he actually supposed to get? And I'm sure Earl's thinking about this, right? I'm sure he's thinking about this. You know how I know he's thinking about this? Because he didn't approach the fight to Sean Porter like this, right? He didn't approach the fight to Mikey Garcia like this. He didn't approach the fight to Yordenis Ugas like this. All you heard out of Errol Spence's mouth is the most respectful things, right? These guys are top fighters. It's going to be a good fight. You know, whatever, you know what I mean? But you didn't hear him talk about any of these guys' resume, and these guys' resumes are equal to, if not inferior to, that of a Terence Bud Crawford. But the energy is different here for Errol Spence for some strange reason, right? The energy is different. And I can't help but wonder why the energy is different, right? And this brings me right to my position that I believe Errol Spence is preparing for a post-loss, right? He's preparing for what happens after he loses to Terence Bud Crawford. Because it's almost inevitable that actually happens, right? The dude is outclassed in almost every category there is to be outclassed in, right? And I think Errol knows that. I think he knows that. And I think he's preparing post-loss, right? Because instead of boosting this man up so that way you can get the maximum amount of credit that you would get for beating him, you're discrediting him as a fighter. You're perpetuating the same stigmas that have been put upon his career this entire time, right? The BS narrative all this time has been that Terence Crawford ain't fought nobody. Terence Crawford ain't done this. Terence Crawford ain't done this. This man done conquered 2 weight divisions before even getting to 147 pounds, right? 8 out of 10 boxing fans got him pound for pound #1 in the sport of boxing, right? The other 2 people that didn't vote him pound for pound #1 got him at very least in the top 3, right? But according to this ridiculous narrative and according to Errol Spence and his ridiculous ass fanboys, he ain't fought nobody, right? Even though once again he's beaten Errol Spence's biggest and best opponents in Sean Porter and Kell Brook, he ain't fought nobody, right? And I know why Errol Spence is continuing that narrative, because he knows that after Bud beats the shit out of him, he knows that Bud Crawford's not going to get credit for the win. I mean, if we really keeping it a buck, we know Bud Crawford ain't going to get no credit for beating the shit out of a Errol Spence Jr. The excuses are going to come raining down like a hailstorm. All you going to hear is, oh, Errol never recovered from the car accident, KD. He never recovered from the car accident. Errol Spence has been at 147 too long, KD. He's been there too long. Errol Spence knows that by losing to Terence Crawford, his ridiculous ass fan base is gonna find some sort of ridiculous ass excuse in order to justify why Errol Spence lost to a Terence Bud Crawford. He knows that these dudes ain't gonna do nothing but move on from Errol Spence to Boots, right? It's gonna be like, oh, he don't want to fight Earl. Oh, he's gonna lose to Boots, KD, right? He knows that these dudes ain't gonna do nothing but pivot, find a new excuse, find a new hurdle, move the goalposts in some sort of way that Terence Bud Crawford is supposed to leap over at the drop of a hat in order to appease these niggas who ain't gonna give him credit. No way. Right? He already knows. So what better way to prepare for a loss rather than to continue to perpetuate those same ridiculous ass fanboy talking points and keep the life flowing? Right? Keep the life flowing, you know what I'm saying? Like a river. You know what I mean? Because honestly and truly, bro, I think Errol Spence is secretly very upset with Terence Crawford. I think he's kind of pissed. I think he's very pissed off with Terence Crawford, right? I think he mad at Bud, bro. He got a problem with Bud. He mad at Bud, bro. Right? But not for the reasons that you think he mad at Bud. I think Errol mad at Bud for forcing him to fight him. You know what I mean? I think Errol mad at Bud for forcing him to fight him, bro. This man Bud been chasing Earl for 5 years now and ain't give up on Earl, bro. Earl made up every excuse that you can think of in order to not get in the ring with Terence Crawford, and he's still there. Earl's like, fuck, this nigga still chasing me. I told this nigga easy route, and he still wanna fight me, bro. Still. Come on, bro. Come on, bro. Bud Crawford still boxing. He's still undefeated. He still got the same WBO belt. He ain't move up yet. He just been waiting on me the whole time, bro. Come on, man. Come on, man. I think Earl got a real problem with that. I think Earl got a real problem with it. I think he mad about that. And I think his divine retribution is him trying to sully the name of a Terence Bud Crawford on his way out. Because if we really keeping it real, this is Earl cash out fight, right? This is Earl cash out fight. This is his last fight before he hang up the gloves, bro. We really keeping it real, bro. Earl hanging up the gloves after this, bro. He ain't fighting no more. He ain't fighting no more. This is his last fight before he hang up the gloves, bro. This is his last fight before he hang up the gloves. But, you know what I'm saying? So what better way to go out in the eyes of Errol Spence than to hate on your way out, bro? But to ensure that the guy that's gonna beat your ass don't get the credit that he deserves after beating your ass, right? What better way to hate than to do that? You know what I mean? What better way to hate than to do that? But honestly and truly, bro, and again, bro, if somebody believed that they were going to win a fight, they honestly and truly believed that, then they would go out of their way to promote their opponent as a great opponent, top quality opposition. Therefore, they can get the most amount of credit they can get for beating that guy. They wouldn't disparage and discredit the opponent because that's going to take away from the win. I know that Errol Spence knows this. So the only logical conclusion is that he doesn't expect to win. Period. Point blank period. End of discussion. But I'm going to go ahead and wrap the video up right here, man. Let me know what your thoughts is, bro. Hit it up in the comment section below, man. Let me know what y'all think, bro. You know what I'm saying? If you're new to the channel, be sure to subscribe. And everybody, and I do mean everybody, be sure to hit the goddamn like button on your way out. But until next time, bro, I'm gonna holler at y'all, man. Peace.
Spence and Crawford are fighting. Who wins?
Who's the king of the welterweights? I think after seeing their fight, Porter and Crawford, I think you've got to lean towards Crawford now.
Sugar Ray with Spence and Crawford.
Thank you.
Yeah. everybody know who won that fight. It's like Errol Spence.
Okay.
Errol Spence, he'll be looking he'll get knocked up within 6 rounds.
Crawford's a bad boy, but Spence, Spence is a pressure cooker, so if he can maintain with Crawford early, then he can make a good fight. But if he ain't on his game, they might be right.
Crawford reminds me of me, bro. So I'm pretty sure you know how I feel about that. Ain't nobody else gonna say that, but I'ma say it. The way he approached that shit, he don't see none of them guys. He don't care nothing about none of them guys.
Got him! Got him!
Look at this dude.
Why wouldn't I?
You a smart man, but not that smart.